The National Basketball Association is the world's most prominent league, where you may witness the best basketball players. For sure, some of you have idolized one of them, such as Stephen Curry, Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or LeBron James. Do you imagine your favorite player not playing for weeks, months, or the entire season? No one likes that. A player's inability to play is due to exhaustion, injury, and poor load management. These things occur because of playing more than 16 games a month and having back-to-back road games. That was the glimpse of the problem that we need to solve in this video. Let's go back to the topic. I will now introduce and explain to you the possible solution to the game scheduling problem faced by the NBA. Take note that we have different constraints that we need to follow. I hope at the end of this video, you will fully understand how to make a perfect NBA schedule. So let's get started. The question is, how to make a perfect NBA schedule? Before I answer that question, let me introduce to you the National Basketball Association, or the NBA. NBA consists of 30 teams, which are divided into two, the West and the East. There are 15 teams per area. East and West are also divided into 3 groups. East consists of Atlantic, Central, and Southeast divisions, while West consists of Northwest, Southwest, and Pacific divisions. Each team must play 82 games in a single season, but we can only show to you a total of 76 games because the other 6 games are changing every season. After we familiarize ourselves with the NBA, we will now proceed with creating an NBA schedule. In creating the NBA schedule, we are going to apply graph theory. But let us first define graph theory. Graph theory is the study of graphs, which are mathematical structures that use points and lines to depict pairwise relationship between objects. A graph consists of vertices and edges. Vertices can be represented by capital letter V, while the edges are represented by the capital letter E. Let us discuss some of the specific concepts of graph theory. First is the graph coloring. The graph coloring is one of the concepts in graph theory that is used in solving scheduling problems. It is a proper assignment of colors to the vertices V and edges E of a graph G depending on the rule of coloring implemented to a graph. In other words, no vertices or edges with same color are adjacent. Another concept that you need to be familiar with is the bipartite graph. In the word itself, bi means its vertices are divided into 2 groups. In other words, 2 partitions X and Y. Each group must have a different color representation for identification. Vertices in a specific group must be only adjacent to the vertices of the opposite group and not be connected to a vertex that belongs to the same group as itself. Now, we'll move on to the tripartite graph, which is the last concept that you need to understand. A tripartite graph is like a bipartite graph, but the only difference is the number of partitions. Tripartite graph has 3 partitions, X, Y, and Z, and the groups can be also represented by a different color for the identification. Just like in bipartite graph, the vertices in a group can be only adjacent to the vertices of the opposite groups. Are you now familiar with the concepts that have been discussed? You're probably wondering how those can be applied to NBA scheduling. This is how it works. Let's begin with the division games. But first, keep in mind that we will just focus on one team so that you can easily understand how graph theory is applied here. The same team will also be used in the conference and league games. What team do you want to use? Do you want a team from the East or from the West? I think I will pick a team from the West because most of the marketable teams are in there. Even if you are not a basketball fan, I'm sure you've heard of the teams in the West. So, I will go with the Golden State Warriors, which is a team from the Pacific Division alongside the LA Clippers, Los Angeles Lakers, Phoenix Suns, and Sacramento Kings. Let us now try to make a schedule for Golden State Warriors division games. In a division game, a team must play a total of 16 games. That is, if you want to create a schedule for Golden State Warriors, they need to have a match with each of the teams 4 times. Here is the graph of that games. As you can see, we have a complete graph with 5 vertices. Each color corresponds to a specific game day, and the arrowheads corresponds to which home court will be used. Repeat the same process 4 times until it reaches a total of 16 games, and the team will switch position for every cycle of the graph for their home court advantage. Let us now proceed with the conference games. The graph here is quite complex when compared to division games because there are 15 vertices that are involved. I think I cannot break it down for you due to its complexity. However, I will still explain how graph theory is applied in scheduling the conference games. Just a simple recap. Vertices still signify for the teams, and the edges represent the game days. As you can see, our graph contains a lot of edges. That graph for the conference games is a perfect tripartite graph. Let me show to you the breakdown of that graph for you to easily understand and do it yourself. As you can see, each graph breakdown has a corresponding color. That color signifies the game days. I hope you got it. Let us proceed to the last part, which is the league games. We are now here at the exciting part of the video. I will now show you the game scheduling for the league games where we are going to deal with 30 vertices which correspond to the number of the teams in the NBA. It is the combination of the teams from East and the West. Just like in the conference games, I cannot break down the process in creating league games using graph theory. To make the long explanation short, league games is a perfect bipartite graph. Now, I will show you the breakdown of that bipartite graph for you to easily understand the concept. As you can see, there are also different colors in the graph, just like with the division and conference games. That color signifies the game days. And that is how the NBA matches and schedule are constructed. In this video, we describe a method for solving sports scheduling problems that is based on the systematic use of graph theory, namely graph coloring, bipartite graph, and tripartite graph. The application of graph theory made it possible to produce the matchups that optimize logistic issues. The schedule that has been created allows an equal distribution of games, thus resulting in a lesser chance of injuries and fatigue among the players. The league will be now more exciting and intense, and the fans will be happy watching their favorite teams and players. Thank you for watching in this video and I hope you learned something. See you next time at maraming salamat!